Indy. One word says it all. And for the second time, this legendary venue hosts one of motorsport's most prestigious events, the SCCA's National Championship Runoffs. Together, it's a can't-miss bucket list event, and almost 900 entries have arrived, all pursuing two things: a chance to kiss the bricks and a gold medal that says champion.
Good afternoon from a partly cloudy skies. It's Haggerty Race Day here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. My name's John Phippen. I'm alongside Tom O'Gorman, Hayward Wagner, the third member of our broadcast team down on the pit lane. Now we are about ready to talk Touring 3 as we're near the end of our runoffs here in the 58th running of the SCCA National Championship Runoffs. But nonetheless, touring races have been pretty good so far. We've had some in the rain, we've had some in the dry, but you know, these guys have got about a 2.6 mile track that they're going to have to circulate. Let's talk about that first, and then we'll talk about the competitors. Tomo, take us around. And
it's produced some fantastic racing as well. The Indianapolis Motor Speedway Grand Prix course. You see we start on the front straightaway across the bricks, the opposite direction from the Indy cars down towards a heavy braking zone at turn 1. It's a great passing opportunity, but also a pinch point at those green flags and restarts. Hopefully we don't have a restart in this race. Through turn 1 into turn 2 and 3, sweeping left and then right before checking the brakes for turn 4. Flat out through turn 5 in these slightly slower Touring 3 cars before a heavy braking zone and a passing opportunity at turn 6 through the carousel. Drives a bit like a skid pad, as you can choose your line as you come into there through turn 5 and 6. Before coming onto the Holman Straight at turn 6A, use all the track and more all the way out to the dirt. A couple cars kicking dirt there as we come onto that straightaway before sector 2. It's a very critical short sector through turns 7, 8, 9, and 10, threading the needle between some curbs, using all the curbs and more sometimes before we come out onto turn 10. Cutting the curbs at turn 10 into 11 onto the banking into turn 12. A very tricky but critical passing opportunity and braking zone. Shooting between 12 and 13 before accelerating heavily about through turn 14 onto the front straightaway.
Thanks so much for Mazda, but let's go right down to the third member of our broadcast team, Hayward Wagner, down on the grid.
Guys, we're on the Touring 3 grid here, and this is a pretty diverse field of cars, but not a lot of diversity in the middle. We've got on the front, we have Marshall Mast in the Mustang, and right behind him, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 BMWs. Now, Marshall had maybe one of the best battles in runoffs history at VIR a couple years ago, battling with an E46 BMW. I guarantee you he is sick and tired of seeing those cars and is going to try to put as much a margin as he possibly can on the rest of those other cars at the start. Keep in mind, weight's very important in Touring 3. 3625 is the weight for Marshall Mast, 3,600 pounds. Ott in the Z4 is at 3,200 pounds, but these guys in the E46s, these are the lightweights. They're coming in just under 3,000 pounds, and as this race goes on, there's a pretty good chance that those tires are going to hold up a lot better on the BMWs. I mentioned the battle Marshall had was at VIR. This track races a lot like VIR. Very technical sections, very fast sections, but most importantly, guys, it's Sunday afternoon.
Apologies for a little technical difficulty there at the end of Haywood's report, but remember, more Mazdas are road raced on any given weekend than any other car brand. That comes down to two things: a great car and great support for the drivers that race them. No Mazdas in this field. Actually, that's not true. We've got a couple of Mazdas in this field, so thanks to Mazda for their sponsorship of this broadcast as well. Let's talk a little bit about the competitors. Interestingly, there's only one former champion in this field, Tomo, and that is the two-time and defending pole sitter.
Yeah, there's a little bit of turnover in this class recently, but for me, Touring 3 hits the sweet spot of attainability and recognizable performance cars, but also attainability. You could go get any of these cars, all of them from the last 20 years or so, and they're really just prepped very similarly to the way you would do it for your own track day. You put maybe some brakes, some shocks on it. Obviously, these are caged for safety and some safety equipment otherwise, but these cars are very relatable. They always produce spectacular racing, and Hayward made a great point starting off with the only returning champion in the categories, Marshall Mast, there on the pole. He's on pole by about a half a second over Chris Hart, who starts second in the first of those many spec E46 BMWs. But that is a turbo 4-cylinder Mustang that weighs 3,600 pounds. It's not going to turn that lap over and over and over again.
And exactly, and Chris Hart, right next to the champion, is in his first runoff start. So we've got, in fact, 8 rookies in this 23-car field. So lots of inexperience to go along with some drivers who have done this a few times before. Let's run through the starting grid for you. The pole sitter, as we mentioned, the 31 of Marshall Mast in that turbocharged Ford Mustang out of Denver, Pennsylvania, in the Philadelphia region, the 2-time and defending champion. Next to him, making his first runoff start, the car number 5 of Chris Hart out of Yakima, Washington, in the Northwest region in a spec E46 BMW. Jason Ott, picked by Sports Car to be on the podium along with Marshall Mast, is the 09 out of Littleton, Colorado, in the Colorado region in a BMW Z4. Next to him is the 112 of Brian Giardelli out of the San Rafael, California, and the San Francisco region. He's in the Haggerty-sponsored BMW E46. Eddie Nakano starts inside of row 3 in the 82 out of Ann Arbor, Michigan, although he races out of the Oregon region in a BMW 330 CI. Next to him is the number 6 of a rookie, Gamaliel Aguilar Gamez out of Renton, Washington, the Northwest region in the 109 car. Racer on Rails sponsor his E46 BMW. Another rookie starts inside of row 4, the 86 of Derek Chan out of Rosemont, Minnesota in the Land O'Lakes region in the Next Rev Motorsports Nismo Nissan 350Z. Brenton Williams, a veteran who is super sweep eligible, also picked by Sports Car to end up on the box. He's in the 52 car out of Clinton, Iowa in the Great Rivers region in another Nissan 370Z, this one, a Nismo. Then we got in 10th starting position, a rookie, car number 93, Nick Hammond, out of Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, the Kansas City region, in a Honda S2000. Starting in the 11th position is car 12, James Berlin, out of Savage, Minnesota, in the Land O'Lakes region, in a Next Rev Motorsports Nissan 350Z Nismo. Starting alongside him in row 6, the 68 of Jared Landrum out of Queensbury, New York, in the the Mohawk Hudson region. Rick's Bike Shop sponsors his Subaru WRX STI. In row 7, we got the 91 of Russell Seawald out of Kennewick, Washington, in the Oregon region, in a BMW 330i. Another rookie is in row 7, the 87 of Ben Schlechter out of Middletown, Delaware, in the Washington, D.C. region, in a Nissan 350Z Nismo. Yet another rookie in row 8, the 44 of J. David Oram from Mercer Island, Washington, in the Northwest region, in a BMW E46. He's the winner of the Hawk Breakthrough Performer Award for making up the most grid positions from Tuesday to Wednesday's qualifying. He picked up 4 spots. Second generation racer outside of row 8 is the 187 of William Pinterick Jr. We saw his dad earlier today out of Youngstown, Ohio, in the Northern Ohio, or his uncle, I should say, out of the Northern Ohio Valley region, in the Kreider Racing Wolf Creek Equestrian BMW E36. That's the oldest car in the field. It's a 97 model. The 17th starting position is car number 30, yet another rookie, Camden Jones, out of Tyler, Texas, in the Texas region, in the Velocity Mazda MX-5 Global Cup machine. Then we've got in 18th to 27 of Nicole Jacques out of San Jose, California, in the San Francisco region, in a Phoenix-prepared Ford Mustang GT. Daniel Spirek out of Parker, Colorado, in the Colorado region, in a BMW Z4, starts 19th. 2 rookies next in the order. 20th is the 53 of Alan Bure out of Columbia, Connecticut, in the New England region, in a Volkswagen GTI. Another rookie, the 21 of Robert Damler out of Zionsville, Indiana, right here in the Indy region, another Ford Mustang GT. Finally, in the last 2 positions, the 01 of Jasper Drengler out of Wisconsin and the Milwaukee region, in a Honda Civic SI. And shotgun on the field, the 56 of Paul McNamara from Windermere, Florida, in the Central Florida region, in a 2005 Nissan 350Z Nismo. And they are coming to the green flag 2 by 2. Marshall Mast and Chris Hart, the green flies, and they spread out almost immediately 4 wide, but it looks like our pole sitter, Marshall Mast, getting swept up by Chris Hart just a bit, but not so fast. Here comes Jason Ott in that 09 Bimmer. Ott with the inside line, and let's see if he can stay on the brakes and sweep it into the lead as Marshall Mast right alongside. Looks like Ott's going to take the lead in the early going, as we've got a car going wide here. We're going to have to take the long way around. There is an escape road. Oh, the 52 getting sideways. That's Brenton Williams, but he's able to gather it up. And the car that went wide at the front will catch the number in just a minute. And we've got a spin at turn 4 as we've got the 109 coming together. as that is the car of Gamaliel Aguilar Gamma as he got a little wide, and it looks like there's some body damage on that very brightly colored Nismo. Jason Ott there battling with the 5 car of Chris Hart as they're going at it for second spot.
Things very intense in the middle of the field this time through, but the number 5 did a good job of getting back by Jason Ott. Ott was the fastest in the trap speeds all week in qualifying. He used that to great start on the green flag. Marshall Mast almost got swamped, but we saw last year, and we saw it here again. Marshall Mast is so good on the brakes in that modern Mustang. It stops so much better than you would think than a 3,600-pound car should.
Chris Hart doing a great job in that BMW E46, battling with Jason Ott in that much more nimble BMW Z4 as Chris Hart with the advantage. But here comes Ott. He's got some trap speed in that machine as he pulls right alongside into a braking duel into turn number 12 for the first time. Ott's going to lead him, and it looks like he's going to be able to maintain that lead, but Hart's going to try to duck it back to the inside. Can't quite do it. Brian Giardelli just behind them as they work their way through turn 14 for the first time. Meanwhile, that turbocharged Mustang at the front looks like he's going to try to check out. Ott in second at the moment.
That's exactly what Marshall Mast needed to do. It's actually Brian Gianelli that was the car that went off in turn 1. He bailed out, so when they cycle through timing and scoring, he should appear much further back in the pack. I think it's actually Eddie Nakado that is the only Spec E46 that kind of survived that first bit of the race other than Jason Hart. A great start for Derek Chan, too, in the black Nissan 350, but he's under attack heavy from Nakado.
Yeah, as Chan has to fall back, Nakado in the 82 car moves up, and then the 52 that we saw spinning earlier, Bretton Williams, as he is in recovery mode right now, as he tries to go alongside the 86 of Derek Chan.
And how about Jared Lendrum in the STI, comes up from 12th to cross the line into 6th position. That's the 68 car now alongside Bretton Williams. Nissan versus Subaru, very tight stuff, but Bretton closes the window.
Yeah, great job for Jared Lendrum. And again, Sunoco is the official fuel of the Sports Car Club of America, and they sponsor the Sunoco Hard Charger Award for the driver that makes up the most places between the start of the race and their finishing position. And I'll tell you what, Jared Lendrum is certainly one of the front runners for that award right now. As they make their way down into turn number 7, Jason Ott in front of Chris Hart. And then right behind him, the car of Eddie Nakado, Derek Chan in that black Nismo. And then the 68 of the Subaru of Jared Lendrum. There's the Nismo, the 86 of Derek Chan. And again, Derek is one of the rookies in this field, making his first start along with Chris Hart, making their first runoff start here at Indianapolis.
Wow, Marshall Mast is just checking out. And this is, again, we've said it multiple times, but it's a very heavy car. It's also a 4-cylinder turbo, which tends to heat soak a little bit more. He's really driving it hard. Opposite lock dab of Oppo on entry and exit in the 31 car, but dancing it nicely. And he needs to pull out this lead because we expect this car to fade just a little bit more than the other cars around him.
Marshall Mast setting the pole. In fact, he and Chris Hart both eclipsed the old lap record that was set here in 2017 by Rob Hines, and they did so by a pretty wide margin, almost a full second faster. Jason Ott pulling away now a little bit in second spot, excuse me, as he's solidifying his lead over Chris Hart. But the battle behind him, Eddie Nakado in that 82, followed by the 52 of Bretton Williams, and Jared Lendrum just behind him in the Subaru. But the Nismo of Derek Chan is impressing me. Both he and Chris Hart in their first runoffs are cavorting themselves quite well, I might add.
If you didn't notice on the rundown of the entry list, Chris Hart, Brian Gianelli, Eddie Nakado, all working together essentially out of the northwest kind of Oregon, Washington, Northern California area, all in those Spec E46s. So Hart and Nakado are going to work well together now that they're linked up. But we did hear from Eddie Nakado that that car is just kind of oddly down on top speed. That's the 4th place car, the number 82. He's just not quite as quick as he'd like to be in the straight line. Chris Hart's is tending to be a little bit quicker, and they don't really know why. But you can kind of see in the trap speeds, 2 miles an hour difference between the two of them. That number 82, maybe he's not going to be able to push his teammate along as much as he'd like.
But you know, they're running nose to tail right now in 3rd and 4th position. So it looks like Hart doesn't have too much of an advantage over him. But right behind them is Bretton Williams in that 52 Nismo. And then Derek Chan has dropped off just a bit from that battle as he's several car lengths back now as he's in 6th spot. As we watch Jason Ott coming down into turn number 12, trying to break away from this battle of the BMWs here. So we've got a couple of them nose to tail.
get confirmation in a minute, but my eyes would tell me that they are already starting to catch Marshall Mast. He's enjoyed a 2.2-second lead last time across the line, and turned almost exactly the same lap time as Jason Ott, so that's all down to the very first lap. Now it looks like Ott, I would say, is starting his slow march back towards Jason Ott. It was 2.2. This time across, what are we looking at?
2.2.
Right at 2.2.
No change. But Bretton Williams just set the fast lap of the race from 5th in that number 52 Nissan, and there he goes down inside the 82 of Eddie Nakano, and that will move him up to 4th place. Now he's right on the back of the rookie Chris Hart, who started outside of row 1.
It's a great clean pass up between the two that we knew wanted to kind of run together. Inserts the Nissan up there into the top 5.
Bretton Williams in that Nismo right on the back of the BMW of Chris Hart as they bend it through turn 5 down into this long, long left-hander at turn number 6. Multiple racing lines here we've seen throughout the weekend in the wet and in the dry as Bretton Williams dropping a wheel off just at the exit as they come up to 6A, which takes them onto the Holman Straight, using every inch of the road right out to the dirt. As Jason Ott does definitely appear to be getting closer to Marshall Mast. I think Mast might be fading a bit. Chris Hart having to be a little defensive because he knows Bretton Williams is all over him, looking to take over that 3rd spot.
Yeah, Williams is charging hard right now, and Mast and Ott couldn't be in more different cars the way they're making speed. It's almost 8 miles an hour difference on the speed on the straightaways, so it's going to be a handling car. Weirdly, the heavy Mustang is the handling car, and Ott is the straight line car. It's kind of inverted from what you would expect, but we're watching this awesome battle between the 5 of Hart and the 82 of, the 52 of Bretton Williams in the Z.
You know, you would think that the BMW and the Nismo would be about the same size car, but as you look at the head-on, the Nismo is so much wider and, punches a much bigger hole in the air than that Bimmer. That's why Chris Hart is so fast on the straight. Let's see what that interval is. It was 2.2 the last 2 laps. As Marshall Mast comes across the line, there's Ott 1.6. You're absolutely right. Ott is getting closer, and you can see there. Now the battle for 3rd is a good one as Chris Hart trying to decide which way to go as Bretton Williams laid on the brakes down to the inside. Looks like he's got that position. Can Hart do the over-under? Not quite. Right behind them, the 82 of Eddie Nakano, picking up the pieces if those two come to tears. But Bretton Williams, right where Sports Car thought he would be, up into the podium spots.
Carbon copy of turn 1, 2 laps in a row. The Nissan passes the BMWs and now can focus forward. Hopefully he doesn't get too distracted and they start racing for 3rd, but looks like the E46 is the lightweights of the field, as Hayward called them. Well, look at Nakano, slices up the inside of the 82, almost makes it 3 wide. Wow, look at this stuff.
And he is going for Bretton Williams for that 3rd spot, but he goes wide, way out to the edge, and that's going to cost him as Hart is going to get back inside him as the Bimmers going to work together, or should work together, to see if they can keep Bretton Williams behind them. Williams with the advantage right now, but once again, Eddie Nakano diving down the inside of his teammate as they work their way in through the S's. Pretty much single file through this part of the racetrack, as there's really not places to go too wide. As they get into turn 10, they begin to make the run up toward turn 11. That takes them back up onto the banking.
Lurking in the shadows, Derek Chan is still back there in the 350Z, a slightly older Nissan, but still absolutely competitive in this category. A couple of years back anyway, everyone thought the 370 replaced the 350, but Derek's still having a good run at it. Don't forget, we had another one up in the field until some contact, but now Eddie Nakano knifes up the inside again of Chris Hart. Those two bickering back and forth. Nakano's going to complete the pass and take over 4th.
Let's see if he can hold it, as Hart is right on his bumper, literally, as they come through turn 14 and up onto the straightaway. As Nakano with the position right now, that would put him into that 3rd spot. But they are side by side as they cross the stripe. Nakano will get credit for leading this lap, but Hart has got a good run, getting a little side draft perhaps, and is a little quicker. You mentioned that Nakano thought his car was a little quicker in a straight line, but at that point at least it looked like Chris Hart was doing pretty good.
The other way around, Hart was the one that had tended to have the slightly better track speeds.
There you go.
And that's what we just saw unfold. He was able to just pull up alongside, but Nakano, boulder on the brakes, leaves the door open for turn 5, turn 4, just a bit. They overlap front axle to rear axle, and they're really losing touch with Bretton Williams with all this.
Yeah, they're leaving each other racing room, which is a good thing, but as they're squabbling, that's letting Bretton Williams get away, and it's allowed Derek Chan to close right up on the back of him. So now it's a 3-way battle for that 4th spot. fourth spot is Bretton Williams, kind of alone now in the third spot. Nakano, Hart, and Chan in that order, running in a close bunch. So we'll keep our attention on this battle for fourth between the two BMW teammates. Derek Chan, again, remember he and Chris Hart making their first runoff start. 82, just a slightly more experienced. Eddie Nakano in the 82 machine has been here. This is his fifth runoff start. He has one medal to his credit as he took third in this class at Sonoma in 2018.
I was going to say, we had a lot of fun watching T3 back at Sonoma, and Nakano was part of it, battling for that third position in this, I don't know if it's the exact same car. It looked a little different then, but yeah, you have to assume this or similar. Experience in that E46 BMW, just a 3 Series, not an M3 or anything special, but they are prepped and light. They tend to race very, very well. 1-1 with a different driver at VIR.
Nakano out of Ann Arbor, Michigan, making a long tow out to Sonoma and having good success there, taking his first podium in runoffs competition. Right now, let's see if Chris Hart's extra straight line speed will give him an opportunity as he closes right on the bumper of Nakano. But Nakano a little later on the brakes. They're going to stay single file.
Too late on the brakes, he overshoots.
Yep, and that opens the door for Chris Hart to retake that fourth spot. So Chris Hart takes advantage of a mistake by Nakano, leaving the brakes a little bit too late. Now Derek Chan all over the back of Nakano, as he might try to pounce, as Nakado's probably a little rattled after making that boo-boo, as they work their way down into turn 5 and down towards 6. Derek Chan in that 350Z, bending it through turn 6. Meanwhile, you can see Bretton Williams running in third spot, disappearing out of your frame. As we stay with this 4th, 5th, 6th battle, Nakano right out to the edge of the track, but keeps it out of the dirt. As outside pole sitter Chris Hart leading this battle. We were following this one pretty much all race long. It's one of the best battles on the racetrack.
Bretton Williams not able to really run a pace that's going to catch the leaders. Marshall Mast and Jason Ott have continued to pull away to the tune of something like 4 to 5 seconds over everyone else in the field, as they've already started to navigate some lap traffic here. But Jason Ott has continued to chip away at the lead. It's 1.5 seconds now last time across the line towards Marshall Mast. And don't forget that Z4M has about a 7 mile/hour gain on that straightaway. So if they get close to each other, it's going to be pretty easy for Ott to just drive on by.
Got a spinner here is the 187 of Bill Pinterick Jr. out of Youngstown in the Mahoney Valley region. Has looped it, but he gets it back pointed the right direction. As we're coming up on half distance on this race, as we've got some great green flag racing here in the T3 final, let's take just a moment to hear a word from the sponsors that make racing possible for us at the SCCA.
Why race? Because it's in our blood. A love of driving that pushes us as hard on the road as it does on the track. It's why we reinvented the Roadster and put a piece of it into every car we make. It's why we refine, rethink, and refine again. And it's why we'll always engineer to your heart's BPM, not simply an engine's RPM. Why race? Why indeed?
When the finish line calls, we answer. Hit the road with insurance protection from Hagerty. Whether you drive a built racer, sports car, or exotic, and save an average of $264. Get a quote today at Hagerty.com.
Welcome to that magic realm. Between here and there, a no man's land, and everyone's land. Where great expectations grow, and rewards are given to the swift, the perceptive, and the daring. Introducing the Mazda CX-30 Turbo with all-wheel drive. More power for your pursuit.
Welcome back to Hagerty Race Day here at the 58th running of the SCCA National Championship Runoffs. Here is your leader in Touring 3 as he works his way through turn 13. And down toward turn 14 and up onto the banking. He is led from the drop of the green flag. That's Marshall Mast, the 2-time and defending champion in that Ford Mustang EcoBoost turbocharged Mustang. And let's see what the gap is back to that BMW Z4 of Jason Ott. It's been hovering right around a 1.5 seconds. This time, Mast able to open it up to almost 3 seconds. So we thought, that Mast car may fade. Tom O'Gorman here is my co-commentator, it looks like he's making a liar out of us at this point.
Yeah, he actually, the last 2 laps, has been able to extend nearly 7/10 each time across the line. It's doing a great job of maybe saving what he's got, or perhaps Jason Ott's, the slightly lighter BMW, did something like 400 pounds, is falling off a bit more than we expected.
Alan Beret in the number 53 Volkswagen GTI, one of the rookies in this field, started all the way back in row 10, and he's just been quietly picking his way forward. I think this is the only VW in the field. He is up to 15th spot, and there he is right now in that machine.
One of only 2 front-wheel drive cars in the class, but this guy's got a great story. Actually got his first driving experience on track, really, with SCCA's Track Night in America program, which is just an experiential, come out and enjoy driving your car on a racetrack, or get your racing career started, whatever you want from it. That's what it's there from. Up in the New England area, got the bug, decided he wanted to go wheel-to-wheel racing, did some time trials to get better at, picking up the pace, driving quicker, got his racing license and built this Volkswagen into a race car. Has a lot of experience with shock tuning, etc. As you can see, Coney sponsorship on that car. Alan actually works for Coney, so he knows what he's doing with working on the car, and decided to jump into the road racing experience. I think this is his first runoffs ever, but to go from starting with Track Night to growing all the way to the runoffs is a pretty awesome SCCA story.
Yeah, running top 15 right now. Just set his personal best on his last lap, a 59.953. It's a beautiful sunny day here at Indianapolis. We have had mixed weather conditions. Friday started out great. Saturday was a little rainy in the afternoon. We had some rain showers this earlier today, but right now bright sunshine in the final afternoon of Hagerty race days, as we are keeping an eye on this battle for the lead. That battle for 4th continues between the 2 BMW teammates. Unfortunately, Derek Chan has kind of fallen off this battle a little bit, but right now, Chris Hart leading Eddie Nakado, but only by the slimmest of margins. This one's going to go right down to the wire.
Mast a little quicker than Ott last time across again, so that Ford Mustang EcoBoost is just starting to pull away. This battle is awesome, though. Hart and Nakado, with Hart having that slightly better straight line speed potentially, only a little bit, but he looks cleaner. Nakado looks like he's pushing harder, and he's making small mistakes here and there, and that's what's causing him to kind of slip away. Then he gets back and then slips away again. So you saw he was a little late turning into turn 4, chucks the car into the corner and makes it work, but he's pushing very, very hard.
Yeah, it definitely looks like Chris Hart is just a little smoother, a little more in control of the car. He's not too many wasted motions, where Eddie Nakado definitely appears to be thrashing just a bit more. I think he's feeling the pressure that this rookie is showing him up, perhaps, and he feels the pressure to stay with this youngster and make it happen as they come down into turn 7 at the end of the Hallman Straight. Smoothly right out to the edge and then into the S's they come. 7, 8, 9, and 10. Turn 10, the right-hander that takes them onto the short chute, runs up to the banking. Turn 11, just a little easy, flat right-hander. And then a heavy braking zone here into turn 12. We've talked about it all weekend long, a very tricky transition off that banking down onto the flat, which leads into turn 13. Meanwhile, at the front, Marshall Mast continues to stretch his advantage. It looks to be visibly even bigger. It was 3 seconds and some change, as I think it may be Jason Ott fading as much as it is Mast going quicker.
Sure is, and Bretton Williams has actually been quicker than Jason Ott the last couple of laps through. Was, in fact, one of the fastest cars on track last time through is Bretton Williams in 3rd, so we might actually end up with a battle for 2nd when we expected a battle for 1st.
Yeah, exactly right. Bretton Williams on that last lap of 53.9 has closed to within about 2 seconds of Jason Ott. So we'll keep an eye on that. That could definitely change. Here's a battle a little deeper in the field as the 112 of Brian Giardelli out of the San Francisco region. Again, he had a spin right at the first turn on the very first lap, fell pretty deep in the field, and he's picking his way back up. He's up to 7th right now, just in front of Jared Lendrum in that Subaru and Nick Heyman in the Honda S2000.
Yeah, he had actually qualified 4th, did this number 112 car, and overshot turn 1 just a little bit, did the thing you're supposed to do where you take an escape route and rejoin, but it takes essentially a joker lap, really. It takes you a long route around turn 1 and 2, and he's having to pick his way back through. It's a cool battle between 3 very cool cars, a Spec E46, then that STI, it's an all-wheel drive turbocharged Subaru, and then the naturally aspirated, slightly older Honda S2000 with Nick Hammond at the wheel. Not necessarily the fastest T3 car, but it's light on its feet and a ton of fun to drive and handle. Hammond is wringing its neck right now. He's going to lunge at the inside of Lendrum as Lendrum's starting to fade a bit in that heavier all-wheel drive car and easily gets the position.
But is he going to try to power around the outside? Not quite able to do it, so good job to Nick Hammond as he takes that S2000 to the fore. That WRX is so popular with the rallycross contingent of SCCA. SCCA has all manner of racing in addition to solo competition, in which Tom is a 5-time national champion, twice in pro solo, so make that 7 in the solo. But then we obviously have road racing, we have rallycross, all sorts of disciplines. Road rally, lots of ways to have fun with cars. That's the whole thing that the SCCA is all about. If you're not a member of the SCCA, shame on you. You should do it. There is no better way to join a comradeship of some 50,000 people who are just car fanatics and just enjoy getting together and having fun with cars. Look at this go again. That turbocharged Subaru with a little more grunt than the S2000 goes right back by it on the front straight.
And that's the raceability problem with the S2000. It is not the most powerful car in the field, but it is certainly an awesome chassis, and they handle the corners great. There he is, rolling some apex speed through turns 1 and 2. And Hammond, actually a quote-unquote graduate, I guess you might say, of the GT Academy that Nissan put on through Gran Turismo. Got into that championship. I think he actually won it and got to do some racing with Nissan a couple years back, but has since found his own kind of efforts here. Works for Honda, so he has a Honda that he's racing here.
Yep, and just as we said, Brendan Williams is closing down on Jason Ott to make a bid for that silver medal. Just as it looked like Ott was going to be able to get away and maybe challenge our leader, just the opposite has happened. He is fading as Marshall Mast building up over a 5-second lead, and here comes Brendan Williams in that 370Z Nismo as he is closing quickly on Jason Ott. We are in the closing stages here with about 7 laps remaining. And right down into turn 12 comes Brendan Williams. His last lap a 53.3 compared to Jason Ott at a 54 flat. So he's shaving off about 3/4 of a second a lap. Williams getting just a little tail happy as he tries to get the power down. Coming on to turn number 12 and sweeping through 13, 14 up onto the front straightaway, right up along the wall. As they cross the stripe to complete race lap number 12, working race lap 13 now. Keep an eye on this battle as Jason Ott in the BMW Z4, the only Z4 in the field. Nope, sorry, there's another one. Daniel Spirak down there a little deeper in the field, my bad. But the 370Z just inching ever closer, so we'll see if Jason Ott can be defensive enough to keep Brendan Williams behind him.
Yeah, he's going to have to get defensive pretty quickly and faster than both of these cars last time across the line. Whoa, very awkward moment. Jasper Drengler tries to let Jason Ott through on the normal driving line, but Ott had already committed to the opposite side and has to go through the grass. Brendan Williams is going to be right on his bumper now. Oh, that was tough for both drivers. Neither of them did anything wrong. You just get too committed to one side, the driver tries to let you through. Now we're going to have a battle for second. I was going to say Chris Hart is faster than both of them the last couple of laps in the BMW. There he just pops into frame. So what has he got, 6 laps to get there? He might end up still in podium contention.
Jesper Drengler in that Honda Civic SI, just doing his best to stay out of harm's way. Running 20th, good run for him out of the 23 starters. This battle for second may well be a 3-way battle before we get to the end. As Eddie Nakado and Chris Hart trying to come a little closer. Hart has opened up some gap now over Nakado, so it looks like it's going to be his battle to win if he's going to get up and duke it out with these two. Hart, again, the highest placed rookie in this field by a pretty substantial margin. And here he comes, looking at his lap times. Hart on his last lap was a 53.6. Brendan Williams a 53.8, Jason Ott a 54.3, so you're right. Chris Hart, the fastest of this trio, is going to make it a 3-way battle. We'll have to concede Marshall Mast appears to be plain sailing out in front as long as he can keep the car under.
I think Jason Ott and Brendan Williams both were held up a little bit by that exchange with the lap traffic, which is probably allowed Chris Hart to gain another, I would bet, a second or so. Yes, indeed, a 55 for Jason Ott, a 154 for Brendan Williams, a 153 for Chris Hart. Chris Hart was the fastest car on the track last time through, including Marshall Mast. He's flying.
Yeah, in fact, his trap speed was his personal best, a 132.108 right at the braking zone there for turn number 1. So that car is flying down the straightaway. And these two have been battling one another. Here Chris Hart. See if he can have something to say about the final step on the podium. This car looks well planted, has all race long. As we were talking about, he and Eddie Nakata, when they were fighting, Hart seemed so well planted and just, you know, smoothly taking it, not overdriving the car at all. And I think that's paid some dividends. He's got some tire under him now as we're in the closing stages. He has not wasted any energy.
Dancing on the brakes, hooks the curb at turn 7 to try to get the car rotated, straight lining and apexing the grass, using all the curb that he can. See if he chops turn 10 like normal. Yes, all the curb that you can take through turn 10 to shorten distance up. More heads-up driving from our lap traffic. They communicate to each other well this time. Jason Ott goes to the easy side.
Lets them all three through, I think. It looks like Hart may just catch them as they come into the brake zone for the final turn. Out of the banking onto turn 12. Yep, everybody's through cleanly as we're working race lap 14, about to complete it, starting lap 15 of the schedule 19. Touch wood, we have stayed green all the way on this one. The battle is on at the front. Jason Ott, Bretton Williams separated by half a second last time by. As they cross the stripe, it stays about that way, but Chris Hart is only another second and a half back. As we look at the lap times, Hart still quicker than either of them by just about 3/10 of a second.
Jason Ott here in the BMW Z4M has responded to the charging Bretton Williams, does a new fast lap for himself. He hasn't been in the 1:53 range in a couple of laps and turns one in that time through. So he either saw him coming and turned up the wick or was saving on purpose. Hard to say, but sometimes just mentally you get into a little bit of a rut. You have to break through it and then something clicks again and you're back on the rhythm. And it looks like Jason Ott has kind of broken through that.
Yeah, as you see the three of them from this high drone shot, great images here from our folks at Apex Broadcasting, bringing in these beautiful pictures. You can see they're just about equally spaced on the three of them. You get a much better perspective from this high angle shot as they work their way down the Holman Straight toward turn number 7. There is lap traffic in front of them that they'll have to negotiate for the rest of this race. Jason Ott smoothly through the BMW Z4. Bretton Williams, the veteran, in the Nissan 370Z Nismo. Right behind him, Chris Hart in that BMW Spec E46. If anything, Hart is a little closer to Bretton than Bretton is to Ott as they work their way out of the S's and up onto the banking.
Chris Hart is continually turning personal best sector 1 times. We have timing and scoring in front of us with some sector timing that when it pops up in a green box, that means it's personal best, and it's continually been green the last couple times through here. Bretton Williams knifes under some lap traffic that is not disappearing nearly as courteously, but doing a good job still to not interrupt anything here. That was, I believe, Camden Jones in the lone Spec MX-5 car, Global MX-5 Cup car, I should say, in the class.
Exactly. As here they come across the line. Here's Jason Ott. As we are now working lap 16 of the 19. The three of them are a little closer together. Ott showing some good top end speed, but Bretton Williams good on the brakes, able to close right back in as they come into the twisty bits here in segment 1. Right out to the edge at turn 2 and then 3. Up into this very sharp turn number 4. Which leads into turn 5. Guess what? And that long left-hander at turn 6.
Jason Ott has really turned it up, and Bretton Williams has all of a sudden found himself with a mirrorful of Chris Hart. The battle is going to be for 3rd. The question is whether or not Chris Hart can do anything quickly enough to get to Jason Ott as well. He's only got 3 laps left, call it 2.5 at this point.
Yeah, I think Bretton Williams is in danger of losing that position. Hart has closed down quickly. He's able to pinch that corner just a bit and is now side by side with the Nismo as they come down into turn number 7. It's going to be a braking duel. Ott is clear. Here comes Bretton Williams. He'll be able to hang on to it. But I would think Hart able to roll a little more speed out of 7, and he's right on his bumper as they work their way through the S's.
This section, essentially single file. It's really tough to pull off a pass here because it's just momentum. Sure enough, they're going to go single file through. You notice Marshall Mast flashing his lights at some lap traffic as they were coming up on lapping the 14th, 13th, and 12th place cars. So they are well up the field as far as making it their way through lap traffic. And then this battle is going to have to come across across all these cars eventually, probably on the next lap.
Exactly right. As these two are battling, of course, that gives Ott just a little breathing room, because the more they are racing each other, the less they're going to be able to keep up with that Z4. Oh, great job by Hart as he carried great speed through that turn 12 area. Here he is right on the bumper. He should be able to get a good draft. We know that car is good in a straight line. The Nismo may be a little quicker. Let's see if Hart, when it really gets up on the cam at the end of the straightaway, if he can close right back on him. He's going to show a dummy here. Is he going to duck to the inside or stay wide? Thinks about it. Not quite close enough to pull the trigger.
Not close enough. I think Bretton Williams is starting to run out of tire just a little bit. We saw him get a little crossed up coming off of turn 13. It's a little bit heavier and definitely a torquey motor in that Nissan versus the little bit more momentum-driven six-cylinder that's in the BMW. And Williams is certainly floundering, feeling the pressure, going defensive every time. Hart's just filling his mirrors.
Yep, exactly. Hart's as close as he's been right into this run into turn 6. This, you could go too wide here and set yourself up for 6A, but Hart decides to stay on the racing line and maximize his exit.
Rear end slides again on the Bretton Williams machine. They're still actually keeping up with Jason Ott with all this battling back and forth. It's actually kind of prompted Bretton Williams to pick up the pace just a little bit and stick with him.
Hart weaving back and forth, seeing the traffic out in front, trying to pick his lane to get through the traffic better as they exit turn 7. Bretton Williams still holding him off, but Hart closes right up as Williams trying to pick his way through the traffic. Sometimes the first car through the traffic gets the advantage, but sometimes you get stuck. And it's that Volkswagen that we were talking about earlier of Alan Beret that they're putting a lap down.
Brier's point by on point lets him through.
Yep.
It's a saying that we have on the track night side. Make sure your point bys are on point. Now this is very awkward. A lot of lap traffic happening here, even teammates, in fact. Jason Ott gets through on his own teammate, the 26 car of Daniel Spirik. Whoa, 3 wide. Hart's got to run.
Yes, he does. He got to run as Bretton Williams got balked just a little bit by the traffic. Hart's going to try to stay there on his bumper as they come out to the edge. He falls back in single file. One of the Mustangs about to go a lap down by this battle. Again, 4-3rd spot. Here comes Hart, closing up. That lapper is going to be right in his way if he's going to pop out to the outside. So they'll have to stay line astern. Hart, though, looks like he might almost have the advantage to get around the outside of Bretton Williams. He has to fall back in single file. I think he might make a lunge here at turn 4.
It's a really tough spot to pull off because turn 4 is a pretty fast corner and these cars carry good momentum. You saw the brake lights only pop on for just a second, but I think turn 6 is one of Bretton Williams' struggle spots. We saw him have a big flat slide coming through the second part of that big carousel. Hart trying the outside. Williams kind of feints him a little bit, pushes him wide. He's gonna have to tuck back in once more.
We're gonna see the white flag next time by as our leader, Marshall Mast, some 7 seconds out in front of this battle. You can see Jason Ott, the second place runner, there in your foreground, as this battle for the final step on the podium is going to go right down to the end. As Bretton Williams, with a bit more experience here, using that experience to his advantage. His 7th runoff start, he would have to win to notch the super sweep, but he would certainly be notching his first medal, his best finish so far as 6th at Road America.
Some of the other classes we've talked about, the first 100 yards versus the last 100 yards, and it looks like Bretton Williams with the slightly torqueier V6 in that car is just good enough off the first couple of 100 yards off the corner before the cars really even out down the straightaways. And even though Chris Hart has consistently been a little quicker at the end of the front straightaway, and the BMW is not insufficient in straight line speed, it's just not quite enough grunt off the corners right here in this moment where they're accelerating. Look at the Z, pull away just a car length or two. That's what's buying Bretton Williams that little bit to keep this 3rd spot.
The white flag is in the air and the top 4 are all in this shot. As right now the battle is on for the final step on the podium. The bronze medal is at risk. Down to the inside, shows him a dummy, then goes to the outside. Does Chris Hart. Can he sweep through and pinch that line off and stay to the inside? They touch. Hart does make it happen. He kind of bulls his way through. You can see a little red paint left on Bretton Williams' car as Williams goes a little wide, drops a couple wheels off in the dirt.
That was extremely well executed, a little bit aggressive, but didn't really interrupt each other, and they just, while they rubbed, that was so commanding from Chris Hart. Gets it done in a moment where he also is allowed to now build a little bit of a lead over Bretton Williams through where Bretton has been struggling a bit in the Z. Look at him slide there one more time. He's going to have a couple car lengths advantage, will Chris Hart, coming onto the Holman straight for the last time. He's not going to have enough time to catch Jason Ott or anything, but he's just earned himself a bronze medal if he can pull it out.
Exactly, and what he needs to do is exactly what he's done, is be in front of Bretton Williams as they exit turn 12 and 13, because Williams, with that extra torque in that Nismo, could pull him on the way to the line. But if he's got enough of an advantage, that advantage will be nullified as they're working their way through the S's for the final time. Marshall Mast, 7 seconds out in front of this battle. And I'll tell you what, Chris Hart, if he had one more lap, he would catch Jason Ott. I'm almost confident, as he is definitely pulled away. Williams is going to concede this one, as that he is going to lose his opportunity to be on the podium unless Chris Hart makes a mistake here in the final couple of turns. But he is definitely quicker than the cars in front. But here comes Marshall Mast going around another Mustang on his way to the checkered flag, his 3rd gold medal, as he goes back to back and takes the win in Touring 3. Congratulations to Marshall Mast, a win from the pole. He was never headed in this race. Jason Ott holds on for second, and a great drive by the rookie, Chris Hart, to make a good move there on the penultimate lap to get the job done. This battle coming right down to the wire as well. The 26 of Daniel Spirek in the BMW C4 out in front of Alan Piret, just enough to hang on to that 15th spot. Piret finishing in the 16th position in the Volkswagen GTI. But Marshall Mast, your winner, saluting the crowd and the corner workers on his cool down lap. You know, we thought this car might go away, that the heaviness of the car and the extra heat soak from the turbo might cause him to overheat the tires, but he made liars out of this. He certainly had the pace all the way to the end.
And part of that is it is the newest car in the field, a 2019, and as cars have got newer, they're kind of intended to carry that weight. So it's probably built to kind of be able to handle that. It's also spectacular on the brakes, as we saw more last year at Road America, but he repeats this year at Indy and just never put a foot wrong. Picture perfect was Marshall Mast. There was maybe a couple laps there in the beginning where we thought this is when it starts to tip, and then it just stabilized out. He was able to pull out that eventually 6.3 second lead, just kind of nickel and diming tenths on every single lap away from the field.
Yeah, just when we thought Jason Ott might be able to run him down, Marshall Mast was able to keep it happening, and Jason's going to pull alongside and give a big thumbs up to Marshall Mast. Great sportsmanship between those two as they work their way around on the cool down lap and into the pit lane. But that battle between Hart and Williams, the best one on the racetrack, as they just left nothing on the table at the end. And Chris Hart finally able to take that advantage and pick up the bronze medal. But take nothing away from Bretton Williams. He drove a great race, just didn't quite have enough car under him at the end.
And drove from 8th to 4th, by the way, to get up to that nearly podium contention, nearly podium position, I should say. Podium contention for sure. Yep. So that was a great charge. He put his race car driver head on today. Qualifying maybe didn't necessarily go his way to come home in 8th those days, but today he earned it.
Yeah, absolutely puts him in contention for that Sunoco hard charger as well. As the top 3 there in your camera shot, working their way down the pit lane. And they'll be coming to the 3rd member of our broadcast team, Hayward Wagner, who will be interviewing our leader and the 2nd and 3rd place finishers, as Marshall Mast makes it a three-peat in Touring 3, bringing that Phoenix prepared Mustang EcoBoost to a stop. He'll get his helmet off. He'll get his helmet off, and the medal, CC down there with the presentation of the medal. And then Hayward Wagner will be able to get in there. There's CC, giving him a podium finisher's hat and a bottle of water if he wants it. Marshall talking to his crew, getting his congratulations there as well. And there's the Hoosier collar going on, as Hayward Wagner's got our winner.
Marshall, it never is as easy as it looks, but man, did you make that one look easy.
Well, you know, I was pretty nervous about this one. I I thought those all those BMWs behind me, they were gonna give me a run for my money there. But the cloud cover and the cool weather helped, and that allowed this big car to hold on for 19 laps.
Did you go into management mode at some point, or were you pretty much on pace the whole time?
I had to back it off a little bit there with the last like 5 laps to go and navigating traffic. It got pretty slick, so I did have to back it off a little bit in some key spots. But man, that was fun.
After the last couple of years you've had, the battles, some adversity here and there, how does it feel to be able to just handle a race? How satisfying is that for you?
It feels so good. You know, that's why we built this car, because we knew that it would have the handling, that it would hold on throughout the whole race, and that's something that the old car didn't really necessarily have. So that's why we built this, and it's great to have that actually come to fruition.
Great when a plan comes together. Congratulations on the gold.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Hayward. Great job for Marshall Mast, building a new car for this year and getting the job done once again. Those Phoenix prepared Mustangs are always tough, and this one no exception. Joe Aquilani and the whole crew at Phoenix Performance in the Philadelphia area. The Aquilani family with a lot of their own success, but Marshall Mast carrying it on. Let's head down to Hayward as he's got our second and third place finishers.
Jason, a medal at the runoffs, is it frustrating to come that close, or is it just satisfaction to be this far up?
Oh, look, it's always satisfying to be in the top 3. There's a lot of fast guys here, but this is my 3rd time in this position, so I'm getting tired of it. I'd like some gold for once, but really happy with it. We drove hard.
It looked like at the beginning like you might have a chance to run down Marshall. Towards the end, it looked like you might have a charger coming up from behind. Yeah. Did the car change much? Do you feel like everybody else changed, or was it just that's how it played out?
Yeah, it's just how it played out. I overdrove it a little bit in the middle, and then once I calmed down, the car was great. The Hoosier tires were rock solid the entire time, so it was great. Once I settled down, it was great. It was really good.
Well, congratulations on a silver.
Yes, thank you very much.
And our third place finisher, it looked like you had the best hot rod there at the end.
Yeah, our car kind of came on at the end. I don't know, it was a little too tight at the beginning, and then once I wore the rears out a little bit, it was good, but it was a blast. I mean, we were doing battle the whole time, so it was a good time.
Well, congratulations on a bronze here at the runoffs.
Okay, thank you.
Chris Hart, your third place finisher. Again, in his first runoffs appearance, did a pretty good job as our winner out on the celebratory lap of honor with the checkered flag out the window.
Sometimes the best setup change is just burn the tires off a little bit. Yeah. Chris Hart just said there.
Yeah, exactly right. You know, burn them down a little bit, maybe they stick a little better. Who knows? But congratulations to Marshall Mast as the corner workers saluting our winner on the lap of honor. And here are the unofficial results. Marshall Mast, your winner by a pretty comfortable 6 seconds over Jason Ott. Chris Hart taking that third spot literally at the last lap over Bretton Williams. Eddie Nakado fading just a touch in the Nismo to 13, about 13 seconds back of the leader. Derek Chan, a factor early on, but a little further back later in the race. Brian Gianelli, Nick Hammond, Jared Lendrum, and Russell Seawald, your top 10.
7 unique makes and models in the top 10 here in Touring 3. We love to see that parity.
Absolutely, absolutely. As let's take a look at the highlights from this 19-lap race. And at the start, they fan out 4 wide. And Chris Hart showed us that that BMW is going to be quick as he gets a good run down to the first turn, but then eventually dips behind the eventual winner as Jason Ott takes the Z4 to the front position. But it wasn't long before Marshall Mast got right back to the front. And then basically there's your podium as they were in that order. Just as it looked for a while that Chris Hart might be able to take over second spot as he did battle with Jason Ott. Eventually it became between the 2 BMWs of Nakado and Hart with the Nismo of Bretton Williams right in the middle. And that then became a 2-car battle as Williams and Hart continued to go after it. And there was the deciding move as they came together. Just a little bit of a touch, but they raced each other fair and got it right up to the edge. But coming to the checkers, Marshall Mast taking his 3rd gold medal And Chris Hart holding off the challenge from Bretton Williams to take third, with Jason Ott solidly in that second spot. There's the gold medal on your now 3-time national champion, Marshall Mast. So that's it for the Touring 3 National Championship in the 58th running of the SCCA National Championship Runoffs. For my commentary partner, Tom O'Gorman, and Hayward Wagner down in the pits, my name's John Phippen. Thanks to Mazda for presenting our broadcast, and we'll see you down the road.
Welcome to that magic realm. Between here and there, a no man's land, and everyone's land. Where great expectations grow, and rewards are given to the swift, the perceptive, and the daring. Introducing the Mazda CX-30 Turbo with all-wheel drive. More power for your pursuit.